So that is how to make a mogrts or a motion graphics template inside of Premiere, but I know some of y'all are thinking, I don't want to do that, that's too much work. And so let me talk about the other ways to make mogrts. So you can also make a mogrt inside of After Effects, which is Adobe software that is specifically made for making motion graphics. Now, if you're like, girl, I don't know After Effects, then it's all good, because you can also use a mogrt that somebody else has made for you in After Effects, you know, somebody who's a boss at After Effects and motion graphics, and then your project is going to look amazing because of it. And there are all kinds of mogrts. So there are mogrts with titles, with transitions, with infographics. I mean, there are all sorts of possibilities. And you can just download one of these beautiful templates and then edit it in Premiere and make it look like your skills are insane, right? So first, let's talk about where you find these beautiful templates that have been made by animation experts. So the first place that you can look is right here in the Essential Graphics panel in Premiere. So right now, if you go to the Browse tab, you'll see that Premiere has probably already added some mogrts here for you. Now, I don't know what your default templates look like. I don't know if Adobe's updated them, but the ones they had in there for me, I mean, listen, Adobe makes some great things, but those templates were not working for me. I actually hated looking at them so much that I had to delete them entirely from my system. And if you feel the same way, you can also delete those by going to this folder. All right, the second place to find mogrts or motion graphic templates that other people have created for you is still in this Browse tab here in the Essential Graphics panel, but instead of having My Templates selected, we're gonna go over here and click this Adobe Stock button. And now we're seeing templates that are part of that Adobe Stock service. It's a collection of digital assets that you can license for a fee, or some of these things are free down here. So if you're like, sign me up for the free stuff, then you can go over here and check this free box. Now, when you do that, it might only show you 4 pages of templates like I've got here, but don't worry, this is a lie. There are more templates than this. So if I go up and I search for chart with the free box checked, then now it's showing me a bunch of stuff that I was not getting before. But the problem with browsing here in Premiere is that things take forever to load and there's not always previews. And so that is really annoying. And so instead of browsing for Adobe Stock templates here, I would recommend going online and just typing in Adobe Stock mogrts and then browsing directly on the Adobe Stock site, because it's much faster and you get previews so you know whether you're interested or not. And if you're like, well, I'll be interested if I can find the free box, then all you got to do is go up to the filters and then under price, make sure you click standard content. Now, we're going to download one of these templates and customize it in just a second, but first, let me tell you a few other spots that you can find mogrts that other people have designed for you. Besides Adobe, there's also a site called Mixkit, and they have a lot of really cool free mogrts. I've actually used a lot of their mogrts in these lessons. Lastly, there's VideoHive and Envato Elements, where you can get some paid mogrt options, and these are cool because you can get these giant packs of different mogrts. Now, I would not start here for your first mogrt. I want you to watch this video first so that I can explain some installation instructions first, but once you watch this, then head to those sites because they're great spots to get mogrts. You do want to make sure that when you're searching for motion graphics on these sites that you check Premiere Pro for the application, because otherwise you might get an After Effects project, and you want to type mogrts in the search bar so that you get that motion graphics template that's easy to edit instead of an entire Premiere Pro project. But for now, we're gonna go back to Adobe Stock site and we're gonna install a mogrt from here. So I have found this motion graphics template that I like. The creator, Wavebreak Media, has done a whole lot of work that I don't wanna do. So I'm gonna click here where it says license for free. And now this mogrt is gonna download on my device. You can save it anywhere on your computer. It does not matter, because the first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to drag this mogrt file straight into Essential Graphics panel in that Browse tab under My Templates. And when we do that, Premiere is going to automatically, in the background, copy that mogrt file onto that local templates folder, which is the default folder for your mogrts. This is a folder that is buried way down in the dark crevices of your device, but you don't need to worry about that. Premiere is handling that. You just need to know that now this template is saved here in the Browse tab. It's always going to show up in Premiere no matter what project you're in, and that original file that you downloaded, you can now delete it from that other location. All right, now that this mogrt is here, when we hover over this mogrt to preview it here in the Browse tab, you're gonna see that we don't have any preview. And that's different than the other mogrt we made right inside Premiere. We could see a preview. And so that's because this mogrt that we downloaded apparently was made in After Effects. And as of the time of this recording anyway, a mogrt that's made in After Effects will not have a preview here. So if you see this, nothing's wrong, that's just the way it is. Hopefully an update will address this, but in the meantime, this is the sitch. Anyway, now let's use this mogrt that we downloaded. So I'm gonna drag it over to the timeline, and if you've done this and you're like, this is taking forever to load, then just remember that's normal. Anyway, now that this is loaded, I'm going to click on this mogrt clip in my timeline, and then over in the Essential Graphics panel in the Edit tab, I've got all these parameters that I can customize and I can adjust. And so these are gonna vary based on however the creator designed this. So they're gonna decide what settings you get. And some creators will give you a lot, some will give you a little. Sometimes the creators will give you nice little organized notes here so you know what everything is. And then sometimes it's kind of a hot mess to figure out, but this one is looking good. And so we're gonna go up here and we're going to change this text here, and we could adjust all sorts of other things, but I think this looks great as is. Now, if I wanted to, I could also add effects to this mogrt clip, and they're gonna work just like effects on any other clip, but I don't want this blur here, so let's undo that. And now you're gonna see that if I try to play this mogrt back at full resolution, Premiere is going to struggle because we've got this red line up here, and that's very normal. You're often gonna need to render a mogrt after you edit the settings so that you can preview it back and admire how dope it looks. Adobe also recently made it possible to add placeholder images to mogrts, and so that means that you can just drag and drop an image or a video straight onto that placeholder and then integrate it into a fancy motion graphic super quickly. This new feature is called media replacement, and yes, it was as easy as it just looked. You're just gonna drag a mogrt that has media replacement onto your timeline, and then in the settings and essential graphics, you're gonna find the placeholder, and then you're just gonna drag and drop, and boom, your media is replaced. You've also got options down here to adjust how that image or video fits into this placeholder. And so if I wanted to, I could adjust the scale here, or I could adjust the position of this video, but I think this looks great as is. And so that's all, folks. We just need to render this and then we can play it back and she's good to go.